Hey,
Can I
Jack.
address the elephant in the room? Tom shaved.
Not you, Mum.
No.
That was harsh, Jack.
I wasn't even going to say that. I was on about the fact
So
wearing
my first words
sunglasses.
on this podcast are thank you. Brilliant.
we have to bleep.
We
this
have to bleep it
in
as
the
well.
first minute. So you just basically
Great.
said nothing.
You said nothing.
Okay.
Well, yeah, well, I'll be honest, this has derailed my whole thing. Sarah's already been revealed.
Well, Jack's got a real bad thing with his eye.
Yeah, I poured
today.
a vodka shot in my eye and now I can't see. But anyway, it's all right. I'm just light sensitive, so I'll just be wearing these. And maybe I'll take them off. Anyway.
He's really, his eye looks proper
We're not here
horrible.
to talk about my eye today. We're here to talk to Sarah Simons.
It's my mum. It's our highest profile guest yet.
Say the line.
Do it.
Shut up, I'm talking.
Shut up, I'm talking, shut up, I'm talking, shut up, I'm talking, shut up, I'm talking, shut up, shut up, shut up, I'm talking.
Hi, podcast director Mirren here. Just a heads up, this episode contains an honest and open description of childbirth. Enjoy the show.
Every time, I always try. There's no way.
You never
I don't
get
know
it.
how to subtly alert people to now's the time.
Yeah, I wasn't
It's-
I was
yeah,
clicking in my
You
mum's
clicked
face.
at me, which automatically made me go, excuse me.
No, sorry, it was my. I learned this the other day. The Indian action thanks. Don't know if that's big in India or not, but it happened at my doorstep. I don't know, a guy came-
I don't know what words you're saying.
A guy-
why, frankly, Jack.
He came to my door and he went. He delivered my food and he was like, "I thank you, but have you ever heard of the Indian action thanks?" And I went, "No." And then he went, "Thank you," and he did like a weird flourish with his hand. I can't do it. And anyway.
No, anybody clicks at me, I go full Godzilla.
Well, sorry, I
Rising
didn't
from
know.
the sea.
Don't click at my mum.
We're already learning so much about you. But
It's
Sarah, we have
important.
other questions too.
Okay.
Like, Sarah, we have a segment on the podcast we start with every week. You know it. You've seen the podcast before. We spoke about
have.
this the other
I
week.
have.
What is your worst moment of the week this week?
Well, I'd had a couple of days with Tom in London. We'd been to the 28 years later premiere, which really enjoyed.
It was good.
And we'd been on Question Time.
We'd
We'd been on Question
been on it,
Time.
Jack.
He went on representing me, obviously, you know. So like a first worst moment of the week was potentially not drawing knobs on those papers that were on the Question Time desk.
Oh yeah,
because we did think about it.
They give you a little paper when you're on telly, and I said to Mum, "I'm going to draw a massive penis," and then lean over to the Conservative lawn and go, "This," while we're on air. It was a good idea of mine
Why do
'cause
they
we
give you
got-
papers though?
for notes.
For notes.
Why would you be taking notes?
For when I
Because
have
it's people
thoughts.
thinking stuff and
It's a
replying to
politics show, man.
questions.
I got
Come
loads of
on.
thoughts. I think gay people.
Did
is
you
good.
take any notes?
Yeah,
Did
I
you
did.
really?
Yeah. I did. I took it home as well.
What
But
were your notes, roughly, if you can remember?
It was
any?
something like
Was it
Social-
a knob?
no, it wasn't because I take it all very seriously.
Okay.
It was something like social media belonging. I wrote 3 words. It wasn't really. I didn't really do a lot.
So
of,
that was a semi-worst moment.
Sure,
of the week.
so you didn't. No knobs.
Yeah, we didn't draw any knobs on those papers. And after that, I got home about midnight, and I was getting ready for bed. I walked into what was the spare bedroom and is now my walk-in wardrobe.
Boudoir, I heard.
No, that's a separate
no,
room.
that's a different
that
room,
is a
Jack.
separate room.
So how
And
many
don't
rooms?
start on my boudoir. That's why I
I'm
stopped
not.
listening for a
'cause
little
my,
while.
My room now isn't even my room.
That's why I
it's the
stopped
boudoir.
listening for a while, because people had thoughts on my boudoir.
Jack had
Which
thoughts.
is not is my dressing
What was your
room.
worst moment, Mum?
Okay. Went in my walk-in wardrobe and discovered that Betty had done a massive runny poo by walking in it in my bare feet.
Oh! How do you even come back from that?
I just stood there and went, ah! For a little bit.
But then did you get the hop?
I had to walk on my heel, 1 foot and 1 heel, hopping a little bit until I got to the bath, and then put my foot in the bath and just sprayed it down. And then I got all upset that there was dog poo in my bath. So then before I could actually have my shower, which is what I was planning to do, I had to get the out and spray everything and clean it. And, you know, so
that is horrible. Yeah, that's disgusting.
But it's not the first time it's happened, is it? In our
No,
house?
you trod on a slug that time.
That's
Yeah.
not quite the same.
Yeah.
I would
And there
No,
was,
it was a barefoot slug crush.
yeah.
That
And
yeah,
there
I
was-
still think
yeah.
poo is poo from a bum, a watery poo from a bum.
Yeah, it
at that.
was not nice. It
That's
was not, and I was
horrid.
tired. It's not as bad as when Nora on your friend's foot during the night, is it?
Oh yeah, we invited my mate round for a sleepover, and in his night round, he saw a rat in the garden, and then he got shat on in the night, and we're not mates anymore.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't shit on your
Yeah,
mate.
sorry.
Why?
No, it was Nora. She didn't like strangers.
She was old, yeah.
Nora, the old
She was
dog.
old.
Yeah,
And Betty shat on me once. There was a lot of poo
My
in our
dog never
house.
once pooed on me ever. Can I just say, in all his years he was alive, never one time.
But we had women dogs.
still have.
True.
You have one.
Walter's never pooed on me. He's a bloke.
Yeah,
A lot to think about.
Walter's not pooed on anyone.
We're breaking new ground scientifically.
Yeah.
This is the first anyone's realised this.
But Nora was because she didn't like strangers in the house. She was about 400 years old at that point, wasn't she? She didn't like change.
That's
Dirty
true.
protest.
Yeah.
That's
And
what they
Betty
call
on
that.
me was for power, and she'd hump me
Yeah,
for power.
air hump.
She
Air
just humped
hump.
me, and she'd had her bits taken away at this point.
Well, yeah, and also, I don't know if you know about ladies, they don't often have the facilities for, well, anything really, like in that sort of realm.
What?
The humping
What are
sort
you
of.
on about?
It's not going to take. It's not going
This
to
is
get
song
them.
lyrics all over again, isn't it?
It's not going to get
What?
them anywhere.
Him not liking song lyrics. I listened to that while I was driving.
Oh yeah,
here.
that was a
yeah.
little callback to our previous
It was,
episode.
yeah.
I'm just saying, by the time this is out, there's going to have been a great. I had Baby No Money in a video yesterday, and I asked him what he thought, and he was on my side.
He's a la 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 la. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
You do, because you liked it. I remember showing you when I was in year 10, and you was like,
All right.
when I popped off, and then it gets all about blowjobs, the song. It's singing about blowjobs.
True, it does- it's
It
about
does.
blowjobs.
I remember, because I didn't get it at the time.
But either way, point being, lyrics don't matter according to Baby No Money himself.
Well,
And he's
yeah,
done more
fucking-
music than you.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to say that, would you, if you're a musician? Be like, lyrics don't matter.
He said
Well, I
that.
can bloody tell when I listen to his music.
I asked him. He said it. He said it didn't
Singing
matter.
about blowjobs. Yeah, no wonder he says that. Knobhead. Right. Can you ask my mum some questions that we pre-wrote?
Yeah, we have pre-written.
Mum,
a
we've
bunch of
literally put
questions.
in loads of effort for this, so we'd never mess this up that you're here.
Is that true or not true?
Yes! What do you think this is?
Yeah, we did all this work yesterday. Anyway,
Exactly.
so we have a lot of questions originally for you about Tom as a child.
Okay.
Because I figured you're probably the only person that knows that stuff well enough, and the audience would love to know. First off,
All about him, is it?
mostly,
no, I
but,
made us put in some...
Brilliant.
but you can really, no, you can really, add your own perspective. Like, for,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I-
man.
Thank you.
you see, this first one is,
Wow, Jack, you're a gentleman, you
I'm
know.
just saying, look,
if I may.
I'm just, look.
Feel free to add your own
All right,
thoughts.
let's, come on now.
Thank you, everyone.
I think we forgot
You've
the
got to get me out.
We discussed not even doing this episode. I've got like a banging headache. I can't think straight.
You're
So
giving him a headache, Mum. What are you doing?
no, not your mum hasn't given me a headache. My eye has because of Anyway,
And you did not actually eyeball vodka.
I didn't really eyeball vodka. No,
That's
that.
important to say. Isn't
Oh,
it?
is it?
Yeah, because when you said it, I thought, did you eyeball vodka?
No, I would
Silly
never eyeball
boy.
vodka.
Well, I wanted
vodka.
to know
I
that.
don't even like.
Let's stick to
vodka.
these
It's horrible
questions,
stuff.
I
you
know,
two.
babes,
Come on,
I
let's
know.
focus.
But anyway, no, I don't know what I did. That's the horrible part. Anyway, the first question we have about Tom as a child is actually a question for you. It's did you love him? Listen,
As opposed to who?
No, don't go
As
listen.
opposed to
Don't go
who?
listen to my mum, man. Don't
He's
put your
gonna
finger
ask-
up and
it's
go
actually a
listen.
question for
That's my
me.
mum.
what I meant was like it's about your thoughts and feelings towards Tom.
What else do you think it's going to be?
I don't know, man. Anyway,
Right, anyway, crack on. We haven't got all day.
we haven't. Did you love Tom straight away, or was he truly annoying at first?
No, I did love him straight. I loved him before he was born. I really
Weird.
did. And I was also really worried that I wouldn't love him as much as I loved Nora the dog. Because I really, really loved Nora the dog. Oh, yeah, she was lovely. She was absolutely wonderful. I mean, she wasn't. She was a total arsehole. And she just didn't like us at all. But I absolutely loved her. But I was nervous that I wouldn't love him as much as I loved Nora, even though I absolutely knew he was even when he was in my tummy. and
But you
he
thought I was a
he being-
girl.
Did think you were a girl, but I just talked to you as a baby. But I thought you were a girl, just because I just couldn't get my head around the possibility of having a boy
Why?
because I'm a girl.
Because I've seen that Daniel Slosser's stand-up special was all about how he didn't immediately love his kid, wasn't it? And you loved me.
Yeah, I really
That's
did.
nice.
I
I've heard
really
that's
did.
more
I mean,
of a-
I was.
But did
off
I
my
even
head
have a
when
personality when I was first born? Or was I just a
No,
bit
you
of
were just
fucking
like-
flesh and that?
Angry flesh.
I've heard that's more of a dad thing though, because
Oh,
obviously-
get your glasses back on.
No, this is making me feel better right now. Sorry, I know it looks horrible. I don't know what's wrong with it, but anyway, I heard it's more of a dad thing because obviously the mother gets like 9 months even of bonding with the child because it's in her, and then the dad just one day there's a thing that like,
Had
wasn't
you
there.
pre-bonded with me when I was?
Yeah, I had.
Really?
Yeah, I remember walking around Woodthorpe Park when I was maybe about 7 months pregnant, and you were huge, and
Right.
you were huge, not me, and yeah, just talking to you and singing to you and stuff.
But I bet
On
you,
my
can I be
own.
honest? I bet you look fucking nuts.
It's not my problem.
Just looking down at your tummy and singing. I guess people know, don't they?
People know that
I wasn't looking
Pregnant
down.
women are nuts.
No.
Not-
Oh, you're doing well today, Jack.
No, I didn't even say
So
that. I was
let's
going to blame
just
that
have
on
a
me. You
recap.
said it.
Let's just have a recap.
I meant that people know what's in there. Like
Alright,
straight
good
I
to
know,
you
the
next
purest
question,
it wasn't
Jack.
puppies, actually.
Do your next
Oh,
question.
my next
'Cause
question.
you're on the questions today, Jack. You're in.
Yeah,
God
we
forbid you're in
also
host
wanted
mode.
to know how was the birth, easy or hard? I mean, all births are hard somewhat, but like I was a particularly difficult childbirth, I know, and my brother was like comparatively really easy.
Tom was 2 weeks late,
Mm.
and then I had to go in and be induced, which means like they give you some stuff and give you some medicine, and it does like makes you have labour. And after 3 days of having induced labour, he still wasn't having it.
Oh,
So it's meant to, and all my friends who I was at antenatal class, they'd come in, had the babies, gone home, and so I was in the labour suite for 3 days, and it hurt a bit, and then this arsehole of an anaesthetist. Everybody else was lovely. I'd seen like every person who was on duty. Everybody had come in, probably the caretaker and the clear. Everybody had come in. Everybody had had a little look up. Do you know what I mean? And
What?
well, you've not got your kegs on, have you?
Up.
Well, you were in there. It was only
you were
because
first
of
to greet
you.
him. That's why
It was.
everyone were looking
Right,
for you,
let's
mate.
keep going because
Yeah.
I'm not loving this story about
Yeah,
your vagina.
it was your first personal appearance, wasn't it?
First meet and greet.
First meet and
Yeah.
greet, yeah.
I've loved my fans since day one.
So I'd seen everybody, and the nurses, doctors, everybody was fabulous, really lovely, until this awful fucking anaesthetist came in, because they said whether I had to have a cesarean or whether I was having a vaginal birth. First time I've said vagina, babe. I've gone quite a long time without saying vagina.
Just
Or
keep going.
menopause.
Keep going.
Thank you.
Keep going.
Or talked about boobs.
Mum,
or
just keep going.
menopause, periods. It's been a little while since I've said anything about that, so I'm quite pleased.
What even is happening?
I spoke about periods last week.
Did you?
Right, let's just stay focused, you two. This is
Okay.
how am I the focused one?
Yeah. So this epidurally was going to be for whichever way you came out, but I'd had 3 days of hanging about in loads of pain waiting for you, so I was like, yeah, go on. And he was a fucking arsehole.
How was he an arsehole?
It was coming up to Good Friday, so he was having the weekend off for Easter, and he was fucking pissed off that he had to come in and stick a massive needle in my spine to stop, the potential pain when another human came out of my vagina. He was a little bit. He was going golfing, and he was a little bit unhappy that I was inconveniencing him with all my, pain of childbirth. And then he wasn't shy about telling me all of the different risks that might happen when he put this massive needle into my spine, and how it probably wouldn't work. And he kept going, because you're so overweight, because you're so large, it probably won't work anyway. So, just let us know if you're having the pain. And obviously, if you have to have a C-section, that's another thing. So, we need to know if you're. But it probably won't work because you're so big, and for women who are your size,
That's sad.
That is a bit
You're not
harsh,
meant
that.
to say that.
well, it could have. I mean, I was.
I saw you like your lip quivered as you said it. You were like almost gonna laugh.
What? No,
Well,
I
I
wasn't.
was.
No, I wasn't.
I was. I was a lot bigger than I am now.
You were.
And
What?
You weren't even born, man.
yeah, I
No, you
was a lot
can't-
bigger
you
than I
can't
am
ask.
now. But still, there's a way of saying it that doesn't make you feel like shit, especially when you've been in labour for 3 days and somebody's about to stick a massive needle in the back. And in other circumstances, I would have ripped his head off verbally.
Never violence.
However,
You told me
he was
that.
the person who was about to stick a massive needle into my spine.
You shouldn't piss him
So
off before
I
he
just
goes.
thought, you know, as much as I do want to punch you in the throat,
You just let
Verbally.
him.
I am,
Verbally.
well,
Verbally.
Verbally.
So
For
what did you
legal
do?
reasons.
You just let him.
I just let it go.
And then he just
I let
fucked off.
it go, and he fucked off. And then minutes later, I was rushed in for an emergency cesarean. And all I could think about was, this might not work. And I was, if I was going to have a vaginal birth, I thought that.
Was he not a vaginal birth then? Did he come out of...
Oh,
Bro,
no.
I beg you stop saying vaginal.
Well, I guess I didn't
I just
even...
don't like
When
it.
I asked, was it
I was out the tummy, man. I
Listen,
fell out the tummy.
When I...
Well, here's the
Well,
thing,
yeah,
though. Here's
you
the thing.
did.
When it was going to be that way, I thought, okay, if the epidural doesn't work, that's fine. Women across the world have that sort of birth without any pain relief and I can
It's
do
true.
it. However, if I was going to get sawn in half and him dragged out my abdomen,
Yeah, that didn't happen without painkillers
I
often.
thought I'd quite like an aspirin with that.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
was that
what I said.
horrible then when they pulled apart your tummy?
Well, the next bit. It was a different anaesthetist when I was like rushed in because something happened with you. You were showing off or being quiet or something, and they needed to get in quick and get you out. And so it was a different.
Sorry, we've just spent 20 minutes on 2 questions, and I just looked how many we.
It was
Right,
it was a
sorry.
different anaesthetist who was lovely by that point, up by my head. And they put this little curtain across when you're in the theatre,
Yes, you
so you
can't
can't
see.
see because it'd be off-putting seeing somebody saw
It would
in
freak you
half.
out, yeah.
And because I'd already thought, ooh, this probably isn't going to work, and I need lots of painkiller. Any time the anaesthetist said, "So, different one, lovely one. Do you feel pain or do you feel just pulling?" And I'd go, pain, more. So by the time he came out, I was absolutely off my tits. I was so drugged up. And then when they got him out and showed him to me and asked, and said he was fine, he was healthy, he was a little boy, and asked, said, are you all right? I asked for a jacket potato with tuna and mayonnaise, please.
Really?
Yeah.
What? And your tummy was open?
Yeah, I couldn't see it. Well, I didn't mean that they were going to just pop it in there.
Put one
That's
in.
horrible.
I meant
You've got a
to
direct
eat.
route to the stomach at
Because
that
it will
point. Just
surely
pop
just
it back.
fall out if you.
No, because
That's mad.
I think that's a different bit to where your food goes. And I wasn't suggesting
good
that
at
I have a
science,
jacket and tuna mayo while I was in the operating room. But
Just
I was,
later, just.
Yeah, I was
ordered it.
really hungry all of a sudden, and I was absolutely off my face.
What I've
So-
understood from all this then is that Tom truly has never done a bit of work in his life and often just gets other people to do his job for him.
Right. Why would you even say that to me?
Yeah.
Wouldn't even get out yourself. Was like, oh, I'll wait till those doctors cut me out of here. Chilled out for an extra 3 days
Well,
and a 3-day
It
holiday.
does sound like it was a traumatic birth, but it kind of wasn't. It was just
She
like,
wasn't
this
even
is what I have to
traumatised. She
do.
was chilling.
It was
She got
like,
a
this
free
is what I
spud.
had to do to get him out. And by that point, they could have dragged him out my ear hole. I was so sick of it all.
I get that.
Innit,
As
Jack?
long as he was healthy and
How long
and
did all
safe.
that take? Because I know I was a 23-hour childbirth. That's what I got told.
Yeah, I beat that by miles, mate.
Well, no, I mean from start of like labour to end of labour, which is a long time. I hear. Some people
I
aren't.
was 3 days in labour.
Well, no, sorry.
Innit?
In labour at that point.
Yeah,
Because I thought you said
it
because
was-
they do the.
Yeah, but that sends you into labour. So you're having
Oh,
you're having
far.
the
7
labour.
That's a long time.
I
For
tripled
3
your
days.
numbers, mate. Idiot.
And then and then it was another.
Yeah, but it's like
another
golf,
few
so actually
hours.
I'm better. It's like golf. Lower score wins.
No, it's not. It's like long.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
like
And then
every other.
No,
Right.
no, it's like golf. Anyway,
This is an.
Some ladies go in and go, and the baby pops out.
in it. That's what happened with my
That's
brother.
what I've heard. I mean, I'm not sure how accurate that is.
Pretty, from what I hear. Anyway, now we want to know, after the birth, which we've established was somewhat difficult, was Tom an easy or difficult child? Like in his early days, those
Well,
early
I mean,
years.
I didn't know. I don't know any different. I've just got.
Didn't know him.
I thought,
Had someone else to raise him. I have no fucking clue.
No, I mean, it was all right. I don't know any different.
All right.
Yeah.
You've met other kids.
Yeah, no, some other kids
Not
are
on
dickheads.
purpose. Yeah.
I was not a dickhead. I was solid and nice.
I kind of misunderstood about the whole leaving them to cry themselves to sleep bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What? What about?
One of my friends was very keen. She had lots of babies. She was very keen. Like, you need to leave them to cry themselves to sleep because they need to self-soothe. So if they're crying and crying, you make sure that they're not hungry, that they don't need changing, that there's nothing wrong with them. Basically, they're just showing off. Let them sort themselves out. So, and also I was very keen that we're not going to tiptoe. There'd been some people that we knew who had a baby and they made us just fucking tiptoe around the house all the time.
No good.
It's like, oh, shut up. Invite us around and we can be normal or don't. So I thought, no, we're leaving him to get on with his own shit. If we've got people around, we're not turning the volume down. We're not doing anything of that. He can just sleep. So I did the whole letting him, which is probably why he can sleep anywhere.
You can sleep
at
through
any
anything.
time,
Do you see me
because-
on them tour buses where I curl up on your lap?
That's not what happened.
I pretty much almost did curl up on your lap on that last tour, didn't I?
No, you were to my side.
But, you know, you could have stroked my head and I wouldn't have known.
No, but I didn't. Sometimes I'd rest things on there.
You could have
If I was working, I had like too
Could've
many
done
things. I'd
anything.
pop a couple on your head as like a little like.
I know, I didn't
table.
wake up, did
You
I?
didn't stir. You
See,
didn't.
and why is
could have done a
this?
mustache.
No,
Done
but because you did, you just left it all on for me.
Yeah. And also the self-soothing thing. So you sort of looked after yourself after a bit. I don't mean like all the time. I just meant when you were going to sleep. And I told my friend about it, and she was like, by this time you were maybe about 4 months old. I said, yeah, self-soothing thing's going quite well. And she went, what? And I said, what do you mean? She said, you told me to. I said, you told me to. You told me, just let it. And she went, no, you don't start that till they're about 8 months. You don't do it right away. So I kind of messed up a little bit. But, he's all right.
You've turned out fine.
I'm genuinely super cool.
Well, that's good to know that Tom was a super cool child in his own
I
words.
wouldn't say it was super cool, but I don't know any different. And
Sure,
it wasn't
that's-
You don't know any
terrible.
difference, so you don't know I want even super cool.
No, you might have been super cool, babes. It's not. Do
Thank
you know what I
you.
mean? It doesn't.
Thank you very
I
much.
don't
I
look back and go,
suppose
it was
it's
terrible.
a good point. Well, Tom wrote this one for himself. He actually wrote this question himself. He put, when did Tom start being funny? I added, some would say that's yet to
I'm
come,
going to
but
say
what do you
any day
think?
now.
Right. No. No.
I've got to watch
Well,
to
you've
look
told
at,
us,
but,
Tom.
When did I start being funny?
You kind of knew you were funny from being little.
Of course I did.
You kind of
GOAT,
worked
that's
quite
me.
hard. You worked quite hard to be
Smells goat. Yeah.
to make us laugh,
Yeah.
or maybe you were just a
Did he
natural
often pull it off? Or
Did I put it off?
a lot of what you've said is you could
Sometimes,
really tell he was trying. I'm sure that was a lot of
Which
what
I
just
think
came
you
out.
always
He
tell
did,
now.
and he was like a little old man. He was always like,
Beg your pardon?
you were never. I don't know. There was a little bit of like old manness around you, even when you were tiny.
What does that mean?
My mum always says you've got a bit of a Mr. Bean quality.
What Tom does?
Yeah.
Rude.
No, in a pleasant
Your mum's
way.
horrible.
No, in a pleasant way, not in a horrible way.
What? So old.
I see it. I do. I know where she's coming from. You do often have a little Mr. Bean sort of like mannerism to you.
Was I funny?
Mr. Bean is very funny.
You
He's
were, babes.
loved
You were
worldwide.
funny.
Thank you, Mum.
You were
Thank you for
funny.
saying that.
And when he started talking, which seemed to be about 15 minutes after you were born, because once you started, you never frigging stopped. Car journeys were the worst. It was like having the radio on all the time. Shall we have a little chat? Shall we have a little chat?
What?
Should we have a little chat? Is often
yeah.
still something you say.
Should we have a little
actually.
chat? Should we have a little chat?
You
Do
love
know what I
having
mean?
chats,
I love having a good
but
chat.
you love announcing them.
You had to tell me off because I used to go, and now, Jack, we're going to have a deep chat. And you go, no, that's not what you do. And I go, why? And you go, you have to organically get there. I go, no, I want to have a deep chat now.
You just like sort of like halfway through quite a light vibe go, right, let's switch it up. Whenever the whole room would go, what?
go, let's have a deep chat.
Yeah, it's like if it gets there, then that's fine. But I think it's, you know what it was? You would do that to me, and I was used to it. But then when me and Eleanor first got together, you went, she seems really interesting. I'd love to have a deep chat with her. And I went, I think, given that this is a girl you don't really know, if you go up to her and go, can we have a deep chat? She might be a little
Yeah.
like confused. So I'm like, maybe just see if it comes up organically. Was what I said.
Jack thinks I'm gross, and I don't think I am. Was I always gross?
I think he's a little gross.
I don't think he's.
He like wipes his snot on his sleeves. And
That's not that grim, Mum.
Doesn't
That is a
tidy
bit
up. And
grim.
You
stuff.
trod in shit the other day.
Yeah, but that wasn't her fault. You choose to wipe snot on your sleeves.
Okay, that's one thing.
That's
One.
like a good example.
Yeah, you haven't to wipe snot on your sleeves.
What? I'm
guys.
not even that gross.
I don't think you're that gross.
Thank you, Mum.
I
Thank
think
you.
you're, sometimes wiping.
You're sort of biologically wired to find him lovable, though, in a way that I'm not.
That's true.
I
You
can
are
see him for what
wired.
he is, and he is a little gross sometimes. Just again with the snot on the sleeves, and you drool.
What are you
I
saying?
drool, I
more
drool.
than-
When he
more than-
sleeps, he drools.
Well, that's not his fault.
That's
That's
not
not
my
making him
fault.
gross.
And sometimes when I talk, one time in music class, everyone was looking at me, and
And you
I was
actively
talking.
piss yourself a lot. Again,
True.
not many of these things are his
I
fault.
was talking,
but-
and everyone was looking at me, and as I was talking, a big glob of spit just fell out my mouth.
Yeah,
You
that's
were
grim.
always a slobberer.
I was always
a
drooling.
slobberer.
You see-
To the point where I had to put E45 cream on your chin because you'd get a bit wet.
You see, that's grim.
Yeah.
How
If
is
I-
that grim? That's not grim.
Not gross.
It is
You're saying
gross.
things
You're
that
a
aren't his
posho.
fault. I think this is bullying.
It might, and it is.
Mate, yes, Mum.
It
You're a
absolutely
bully.
it is, because none of it's his fault. But at the same time,
The
like,
sleeve is the wiping
not
his
trying to be
nose on
funny,
his
but like some
sleeve
people
is.
smell real bad. It's not their fault, but at the same time, it's gross. You would think to yourself, this is
No,
gross.
but if you smelt bad, you'd wash yourself and put
Some
deodorant
people
on.
don't.
Doesn't work for
Some people
everybody.
don't.
Anyway, we'll move on from Tom's smell. And we'll ask the big questions now. We've got a couple of big ones before we move on.
What, childbirth and childbirth wasn't big?
I don't know if people like. I just
None
think
of your audience cares.
people will care more about this. That's
Oh,
what I
go
mean
on.
to say.
Okay,
Sorry, Sarah.
Okay.
I'm sure it was very important to you though. Giving
I'm a little
birth.
bit grumpy with you. I'm always a bit grumpy with you, Jack Manifold.
It's all right.
Right, let's come on. Ask your question. Let's move it.
We wanted to know: is Tom a good son, and would you swap him for someone else? If so, who?
He is a good son.
Thanks, Mum.
But if you could have like any son,
No, I wouldn't swap him.
you wouldn't.
Really?
Not even.
No.
Have you never ever just seen another kid his age and went, "Oh, that would be a better son"?
No.
I'm thinking, oh, hang on, I'd have to have a think.
I mean, look at it from my point of view. 3 days labour, YouTube millionaire.
Yeah, I know, but
Wow.
I don't know.
I like that,
just,
Mum.
It was worth it.
See?
I mean,
She
a
loves me
couple
for
of
who I
3
am.
days labour, he fucking better be him.
yeah, I know. but,
Successful.
She had high expectations for
yeah.
me.
you know, but what if he was Tubbo and he did a 3 month subathon?
You would be pissed off if you have 3 days of labour and all you got was Tubbo. You'd be so annoyed.
What about if he was Tubbo or Erin? I think Erin would be a great son. Our friend
Erin's
Erin.
lovely. Erin's lovely.
Yeah,
Tubbo's lovely.
I would pick
But
Erin.
I'm happy with Tom. Thank
All
you.
right.
You pick
I know
Erin.
you're trying to start a fight, Jack, and it
I'm not trying to
he's
start a
trying
fight.
He's
He's
trying to
trying to
develop
do
a
it.
rift, babe.
Trying to get some
He's
interesting
gonna do
stuff.
Let's
it.
gang up and start on him.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah,
If
you.
that's all that's been happening, and I've got a gammy eye, so that's horrible.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, you're gross. Oh,
Yeah.
you're gross.
This is
Even
one
though
of the
you can't
grossest-
change
I'm
anything
gonna
about
say,
it, you're gross.
and hey, this is you know, this one thing about me that you don't have. I'm willing to look at myself objectively.
Look at
Tom.
yourself in the eye.
Look
Which
at myself
one?
in the eye, my gammy eye, and go, that is a little gross to look at. And I'm sorry, viewers, you have to look at it. Right? Anyway, now I've got a big question for you, Sarah.
Go on.
I didn't even write this one. I think Mirren might have said this one, so I'm just gonna start dobbing people in because I'm getting a lot of flack for these questions. We wanted to know, what is Tom's biggest red flag now he is a man?
What do you mean his biggest red flag?
What makes him, you know, what? Ooh, stay away from him. Again, I didn't write this one, so you
What's
can't.
something that you
Don't got none.
about Tom
Yeah, all right. If
that
you,
is an awful thing? That
No,
should
no.
make people go, oh, or
No.
what does he think of?
like a red flag, like obviously you're his mum, so you would never do this. But if you were, like instead,
What are you going to say now?
obvi-
I feel like you're from Mansfield, so all the laws on
No.
incest are very different, aren't they?
No. no, but obviously you're his mum, so you would never do this. But if you were, say, if you just looked at him objectively as a woman, what would make you go, actually, stay away from him?
What are you doing?
I'm not saying-
Why are you asking my mum that, you pedo? What is wrong with you?
You two have taken it in a...
Listen,
listen, you two have
What
taken
if
it...
I looked at him objectively as a woman? Would
No,
you
not as in like
That's
physical.
horrible.
I'm not saying it's what's physically attractive about him, but I'm like,
Why would
you know this
ask
little bit.
Oh no!
Oh, you
this
lot
is
are-
awful.
You guys twist shit in a horrible, horrible way. I'm
I'm in trauma. This is trauma.
no, but like, I'm not saying like, oh, what do you think makes him fit? Like, I'm not saying that. That's horrible. I'm saying like, you know his habits. What do you worry about for like a girl that might live with him one day? Because you know all his habits. What are his red
Alright,
flags?
Okay.
You see
Why
what I
would you
mean?
not ask it like that in the
My
first place?
shoulders have gone up to my ears as we were
That's
talking.
horrible.
Because I've got I've got headaches.
The gammy-eye does
I've got
not
headaches,
apologise.
man.
Incest.
I didn't
What, do you
suggest
keep
it.
all your reasonable
You guys
things?
both went, incest. Why
Did
would you
ask my mum
assume
to look at me
incest?
objectively as a man?
No, but I'm saying like you're a woman, you know what like living with fellas, you know what like is off-putting, you know Tom's habits. I'm not saying like, oh, is he tall enough? Like fucking that's weird. That'd be odd. That'd be horrible. Don't look at me weird. I didn't say anything weird. I'm asking a normal question. You know what he's like. What would put you off about him? What should people watch out for?
People.
Women of the world, what should they watch out for?
Mum, what should women of the world watch out for me?
God, I'm glad we got here.
Before he's had his breakfast, he's an absolute arsehole.
Fuck off.
You know it's true. You know
I
that
do,
is
I do.
true.
I can't,
That you're
it's
an
true.
arsehole before you've
am.
had breakfast. To the
Believe
point
it.
where sometimes you apologise after breakfast.
Is that my
And you
only
know
red
that
flag?
is true. You know that's true.
Some
'cause
people are
sometimes you
such bad
apologise.
men, and if that's my only red flag, I'm a bit snippy
I
before
didn't say
breakfast.
it was your only red flag. It's the first red flag that
Okay,
comes in
name
my head.
another then. I don't got none. Exactly, silence. You can't think of
I mean,
anything.
that's the first thing that comes to
I'm
mind.
bad
is that
before
that
breakfast. Do you know what I mean?
that you-
Think about our community. Think about how good that is. That is fine.
Don't think about our community. Do you mean, are you comparing it to
No,
some
no,
of the
no,
bad
no, no.
people?
I'm not, Mum. I'm obviously not.
You're
but I'm just
comparing
saying.
yourself to bad uns.
Yeah, so pretty good, really. I'm a good un. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose
Yeah,
if you
that
compare
is-
a good
yeah,
un to a
that
bad
is-
un.
Yeah, pre-breakfast, if he's hungry, everything kind of stops until he's no longer hungry.
That's true, yeah. If you're hungry, you are a bit irritating.
That's fine. I'll
I've
take that. I'll
learned
take
that.
that on the chin.
Well,
Right. You got any more, or is that it? I'm a bit
That's
hungry.
all the
No,
questions.
I mean, I can't think of
Well,
anything.
guess what? We have another new segment specifically for you, Mum.
Yeah.
We have a new segment. This segment is called Who Knows Tom Best? And I'm going to ask you two quick fire. This is a new segment, by the way. And I'm going to ask you two questions. And then you both have to answer. And we'll do it.
Can I just quickly, before we start this segment, I reckon it's your mum.
I think we know you differently, not
Shows you
necessarily
differently.
one better than the other. I think we
Right.
just know you
No,
in
I
different
think you know him better
contexts.
than me. I think
Do you?
I'm going to make, there's a point I was going to make later, but I'll make it now. I think you two are very, very, very open with each other. Possibly to a degree that I find a little scary.
That's true.
I don't think I could talk to my mum about certain things you two discuss.
Like what?
I'm not even going to start because
That makes him uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you just asked my mum, what do you find objective about me as a man,
I'm
Jack?
trying to be funny, right?
Yeah, you weirdo.
No, I'm not even telling this story because that's too far. But like no,
Wait, what were you going to say?
no, because you know what I'm going to bring up.
Just start bringing it up and I'll know.
when sorry to bring up dark times, but when your dad was on his deathbed.
Oh, no, don't bring this up.
Yeah, exactly, right? And all of a sudden I'm the weirdo.
No,
Oh, he
my
was
mum
just
needed,
cheering
my
me
mum
up.
needed cheering up, so
He
I
was
told her
just
some
cheering
funny
That's a weird way to
stories.
cheer your mum up.
I told her some funny stories.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he, al-
funny
and he also
stories, was it?
introduced me to dating apps, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I told
Yeah,
you about dating
we got
apps.
we got me signed up to Bumble.
She signed up to Bumble
Yeah,
next to a dying
Yeah,
child.
you
as
know
we were
what?
both holding me dying dad's hand.
And every so often we'd have to go quiet because he thought he died. But then he hadn't.
Just to
we didn't.
express.
No, he was quite loud with his breathing, so we knew that he was. So we knew that he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
It was very sad
But we
to get
did.
the crackle
Sometimes
back.
we did get a little
The
bit
death
involved and
rattle,
forget
they
he
call it.
was there, didn't
The
we?
death rattle. It was the death
They
rattle.
call it the death
No,
rattle.
it wasn't.
Oh, never mind. It weren't.
It wasn't. It's
Idiot.
because he had pneumonia towards the end, didn't he? And so his breathing was very, very
Oh, never mind.
loud. So we were aware he was still alive.
Yeah, so it was nice actually.
Yeah. So it was nice.
You're an idiot. Right.
Yeah, sure.
Who knows Tom Best Questions? This is my new segment we're going to do, and it doesn't include you interrupting and whatever you're trying to horrible do.
Horrible,
Right.
whatever you're trying
Right,
to
be
horrible
quiet,
do.
be quiet, both of you.
They're
Right.
not words.
Who knows
words
Tom?
In a sentence
This is a
don't
new
make
segment. This
sense.
is a new
What
segment.
you're trying
I'm
to
trying to debut a
horrible
new
do.
segment, and you two are being idiots.
Let's do the
What
segment.
is this? What you're trying
Who
to
knows
talk
Tom
and
Best?
do?
You ready?
Right,
Answer
go
these
on.
and go. What's my favourite colour?
Green.
Red.
Both of you were wrong. It's like sky. I would have accepted
it's blue
sky
as this,
blue
isn't
or
it?
something. All right, 1 to Jack. What's my favourite film?
Up.
2 to Jack. You're shit. You're
I
a
was
shit
going
mum.
to say
You
it.
didn't say it quick enough.
Oh.
What stresses me out most?
YouTube views.
No, I've got 2
Never mind.
answers for this.
Oh.
Can get a point for either.
I thought it was analytics. Other
No.
than that, I don't.
That's
lack
up there.
Of food.
No. I have very specific 2 big
Oh,
stresses.
bumholes.
Close.
Bumholes,
Close.
Oh,
No,
body horror. Then
I
it
won't
will be.
accept that. There's one specific
Yeah,
thing with
bumholes.
bumholes.
Oh, anal prolapse.
That's it.
Anal
3.
prolapse.
Nah. Okay. 3. Jack got it first. Where am I happiest?
Parks.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
once a month.
I was good.
What specific park though? The one next to our house. Who do I love most?
I don't
You.
fucking know. Erin?
All right, once a month. I'll accept Betty, my mum, or myself. What's my favourite animal?
Dog.
Yep, that's 2, 3.
I think it's 3 each. I think
Three
it's 3
each.
apiece.
Boxers or briefs?
Boxes. No.
Briefs.
I don't even know what the difference is to those two, so I won't count it. What celebrity, dead or alive, would I invite for dinner?
Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Once a month. 4, 3. How many children do I want?
3.
No, 2.
2.
Stupid idiot.
I thought you wanted 3.
3 would be too many. 3 would be ridiculous.
3's a lot.
3.
They say 3's a crowd.
Yeah, I'd never put my poor partner through that. What's my favourite sport?
Climbing.
Yeah,
Do
no,
you
I don't even have
You
one.
do that? Yeah, I
Don't
was about to
even have
say. Yeah, what?
What am I best at doing?
Talking.
Yeah. What am I terrible at doing?
Listening.
Yeah. What's my favourite video game?
I want to say Minecraft, but
Yeah.
okay.
What's my
Okay.
favourite band?
The East Street Band.
Yeah, good lad. What colour are my eyes?
Blue.
Yep. What's my choice of meal deal?
Tuna mayo.
Yeah.
With sweet corn and that.
What is the most drunk I've ever been?
Oh, I know that. It's, this you won't know this.
Yeah, you saw me, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, you came up. You were being sick, babes. You were being sick into a
I
bucket.
came home, didn't I?
Yeah.
Stumbling in through the door. Aaron and Freddie holding me.
Oh, I think I know about this though.
Yeah.
I just
Aaron
wouldn't
and
know
Freddie-
exactly.
Aaron and Freddie, who were a little bit
also
wrong.
wankered.
Yeah. But compared to you,
I was so bad. I can't even remember.
Yeah,
What
and
was
then
I
you were-
doing?
You were just
Vomiting.
laughing and talking nonsense, and you didn't do anything particularly embarrassing apart from throw up into a bucket.
And out an Uber. Who is my best friend?
Freddie.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's my star sign?
Don't know.
Aries.
Oh.
How dare you? After what he's been through. What is my go-to karaoke song?
Born to Run.
No, isn't it Jungle Land?
I did 9-minute Jungle Land the other day. No. And then, last one. What is my love language?
I don't know.
Talking.
He's talking as well. All right. I don't even know who wins because I stopped tallying it up because I couldn't ask the man do
Oh,
maths.
Mirren
Mirren was
was doing
tallying.
it. Apparently,
No one
mum
wins.
wins.
Well, guys.
No shit that your mum knows you.
Yeah,
better
but
than
not
me.
by a lot, though. 9 to
Oh.
8. Fucking hell.
Wow.
Well, you see, I know young Tom, don't I? I know younger Tom.
You don't
better,
know,
and
but
you-
no one
you
really
know.
knows me now. I'm an enigma. I'm mysterious,
babes?
really.
Are
Yeah,
you?
I am.
I didn't think I knew you that well, to be honest.
You know me so well.
I saw a couple of the questions, thought I have no fucking clue.
My favourite colour, you said green, you said red.
Yeah, for like
Orange
the,
and green
like
were
the
your
crazy
favourites
Tommy in
when
it
you were
shirt.
little. Orange and green were your two favourite colours. when
Orange
you
and
were
green,
little.
those are 2 of my least favourites now.
Well, people change.
I thought it was the crazy Tommy in it red.
No, that was just the red and white.
Like from the red book. Or the red phone or the
That's
red
hot
tea.
pink, actually. It's hot pink.
It's not hot pink. It's red.
It's red in this lighting. It's hot pink.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
they kept calling it in the office the pink Bible. I thought that really red book.
It's
that
hot
you,
pink.
you had.
It is hot pink.
It's really, really red.
All right, should we ask
Glad
some
you
questions
agree.
about Tom's early fame and success, you idiot? So I've
Why
been
are
wa-
you calling him an
Do
idiot?
you know why?
He's done
Because
nothing.
I've been watching
Wait
this.
till he is
I've been
an
watching
idiot
this
and then
show.
calling him idiot.
The staff lets flats, and he goes idiot, and I've just started saying,
stuff like
He's
I've
not
been
done
saying it all the
anything
time.
yet. Wait till he
You
can't.
stupid
He's
idiot.
valid.
Yeah, we do have a lot of questions about how you felt when Tom first started getting famous on the internet. Again, I think fame is possibly an exaggerative word, but successful, I think, is a good one. Anyway, how did you feel about all the
So
youth?
he's exaggerative.
Fame is exaggerative.
Exaggerative.
Timothy Chalamet's famous. We're just fucking twats on the internet.
Timothy Chalamet's only famous if you know who he is. Fame's subjective.
Well, that's everyone. That's like saying my dad's famous because I reckon he's well mint. Fair enough then. Right, anyway.
You just got owned, mate.
How did...
You just got completely owned, and the whole world watched it. Nice one.
Look, I wanted to know how you felt about all the YouTube stuff when Tom first started. Not when it was taking off, like prior to that. Like when he was just like
Channel
doing
Nut
this
Pig,
thing.
TommyInnit, early TommyInnit.
Not even early TommyInnit, Channel Nutpug and stuff. Yeah, the really, really early stuff.
Well, he wanted to be an editor. He wanted to be a film editor. And I'd said to him, I think what you want to be is a director or a writer. And he was like, no, I want to be an editor. I want to be... I was like, all right, fair dues.
I thought the editor had a lot more power than I now know they do.
Yeah. Well, you just enjoyed telling stories. In whatever way that was, you enjoyed telling a story. So I was all for it.
Love a good story, me.
Yep.
Were you at all worried about like him being on the internet?
No, because we'd kind of we talked about it a lot, and, you know, had kind of a map of him explaining what different bits of the internet he was on, what different
that map, didn't we?
what
Oh, my
different
days.
like what different
We had like a spider
platforms he was
diagram of
on.
what was allowed and not allowed. It's like, I remember because once I broke it, I installed Musical.ly, and then I realised I had messaging on, and then I self-reported myself. I'd
You weren't
always
allowed
self-report.
full messaging.
we were really
No.
open
And then I
about
got
all of it.
my iPad Mini was gone for a week, and it was
Yep.
the worst week ever.
Yeah, because I think you were 13 before you got a smartphone, weren't you?
Yeah, it was horrible. I had my
you weren't
Nokia.
allowed anything.
Everyone at school called me Nokia Brick because I had my little Nokia. It wasn't even a brick; it was just a little Nokia.
Nokias were like bricks, though. They were indestructible, man.
They weren't, because I was so angry once I threw mine at a wall and it broke. So I had two.
No, we were dead strict with it all, so I felt comfortable that he was safe.
Fair
really,
enough. I
really
just
strict, and you know, kept the computer downstairs for ages until you were old enough, and then when you had it in your room, your door had to be open the whole time, and we knew, you know, who he was communicating with. Because I just thought, you know, when we said to you that we wouldn't put our 11-year-old in a room full of complete strangers and then just go away and go, enjoy yourselves, everybody. You know, we just wouldn't. So that's what you do online if a child is just interacting with whoever and they can interact with you.
Sure.
You know, until they're old enough to kind of have a sense of what's safe, what isn't safe, what is healthy, what isn't healthy, you know, all that kind of stuff.
But so you had no concerns when he decided to do the Minecraft YouTube stuff? Just because I wouldn't.
That I'd be mocked.
No. Because in terms of child safety, I would say putting them in a space full of Minecraft YouTubers historically has ended poorly.
It's true, Mum.
I felt that we had enough of an open dialogue that if anything was kicking off,
You put me in a pond full of sharks and said swim. Do you know what I mean?
Minecraft YouTube, you probably know by now.
about
Gloss over that.
about the, you know.
Well, no, historically, especially in the era that Tom was trying it, a few of them did end up being pedos. Let's be open about it. A few of them did.
I think we had enough open dialogue and you'd tell us everything.
It's true.
I
was
felt
very
that you
open.
did. I mean, sometimes too much. Do you know what I mean?
When? Was a kid.
That
When
still
did I
happens
teach?
Yeah.
now.
I mean, we have so much of a relationship where we talk about everything, and I say too much, and you say too much, but we all know a lot about it. Me and him know a lot about each other. So, and that's always been the case. That I felt like, you know, we could guide him through anything like that, and he'd say, you know. But I also felt that we were really responsible about it. Yeah.
Well, look at you now. You're fine. Ish. A little depressed, but I reckon that isn't entirely down to the Minecraft YouTube. I think there's other factors.
It's true. And I'm on meds.
You've got school
Oh, yeah.
trousers on.
In it. That's what I said.
We don't dress ourselves for the podcast.
No, like,
Well,
like
we put the
two
clothes
little,
on, but we don't pick them.
like
sorry.
little boys.
You great. It's just because you wore them at school. Them similar.
I
to
know,
them,
this is
isn't it?
exactly what I said.
Are they
but-
from Asda's?
Right. You're being cheeky. You're being completely cheeky, and it's not appreciated.
Little
Got his
middle.
George on. Look
Right.
at him, George boy. Boy George.
Keep it going
Yeah.
with your
No,
questions.
Boy George did some bad stuff I learnt recently, but anyway. Sorry, Ellie's recent video was
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
no, I saw it. I saw
Yeah.
it. Oh, I love her.
She's
Oh,
great.
she's lovely.
What happened when it all? You know when it? I'm going to try and ask this question, Jack, because you're just going too slow. How do you parent? This is what Jack's meant to ask. How do you parent a child who had a life experience like Tom at the age of 16 to 18? So do you know when it all went mental? How did you even deal with that as a mum?
Well, first thing was important to me was mental health. So
I'm
we did-
depressed, mum, so you didn't do great.
You tried, but now he has to have tablets.
He's on tablet.
He's on
His
tablet.
nerves are bad. It's bad with his nerves.
He's got bad nerves. Fucking hell, lad. Nerves are bad.
He's gonna have a nervous breakdown. His nerves are that bad. He's on tablets.
Right, anyway, so you were saying about my mental health.
His nerves, I've not heard that in years.
Well, you know, we talked about mental health a lot and talked about.
You whacked me in therapy, didn't you?
Yeah, got a really good psychologist.
I was doing fine. She's like, you have to get therapy. I was like, all right.
Yeah, and you and me both have lots of therapy, and
true.
you know, and we're open and we talk about stuff and we explore stuff and we work out how we're feeling and why, and you know, accept it and manage it in whatever ways best. So we've always talked about that. I'd done lots of stuff with my work, done lots of work on behaviour and about mental health and anxiety and stuff like that. So I felt like in my professional life, I was kind of equipped to understand that. And also I felt equipped to understand what fame was, and how kind of...
I remember you kept telling me, don't be the one that pays for everything. And so then I never paid for nothing.
Yeah, he took it too hard.
I took it too serious,
Yeah.
you know.
He took that a bit
Poor
too hard.
Tubbo had a couple years there where I wouldn't pay for a single meal if I was with
that what
Tubbo.
you went a bit far with
I
that.
went a
though.
bit too far the other end, you know.
But also how,
Poor Tubbo. Sorry,
fame it's not to do with you as a person. It's to do with people appreciating your work, your art, your work, whatever you do. And even to the point, even though it was TommyInnit, that's partly you, partly a character, So it was knowing that how other people feel about you isn't necessarily going to make you feel any different, isn't going to make you feel more important or less important. Or if it does, you need to kind of have a bit of a check on yourself. It doesn't intrinsically change who you are. It kind of amplifies it. So if who you are is, solid and together and thoughtful and kind, it'll amplify that. And if you're less so, if you're sad, if you doubt it, it'll amplify those things as well. So it's about working on yourself.
What was it like for you seeing me get so famous? Question.
It was weird. It felt like it was almost like an out-of-body experience, like it was happening to somebody else. Somebody else's child, somebody else. But it gave me a bit of distance that, it was happening to you and I was, your mum and the mum of a child at that point. You were 15, 16, that it was my job to kind of guide
What was
you
I
through
like
it.
when it was all going on?
Right.
Right. What? I was just like...
You were just a normal kid and that was part of it. That was part of the charm, I think.
I think that was part of the appeal, yeah.
That you didn't really understand hierarchy. You didn't really have much respect for people's fame.
Yeah, I remember.
And
That was a big appeal. I remember Ellie telling me that.
What?
Because she'd never really she's on a very different side of the internet, but I think the first time she saw you was doing Among Us with the Sidemen. That was like the first time you ever like crossed into sort of like her realm of like sort of knowing things. And she said, like, she remembered just like you joining and instantly like sort of being really rude to KSI. And she's like, that's funny. This kid like isn't afraid of KSI. Like, it was just like, I think that appeal of like most kids that were your age would be so nervous and you just weren't. And I think that was like a big appeal of it.
Yeah. And I think you were really aware that they were doing their fame thing and you were doing yours. And it was just that it was that sort of interaction. So while you were in front of the camera, it didn't really matter. You didn't have to be in awe. You were just, you were equal to them. You were just doing your job, same as they were doing their job.
It was great. It was very funny. I'm going to quickly pivot out of this little section because I think it's interesting to touch into now because you sort of mentioned it. You said with your professional life, you were sort of prepared for sort of how to deal with fame and stuff. Because you've had a career being a writer, actor, acting, writing. I feel like there's another one that I'm...
I worked in education as a teacher and writing.
Well, obviously, yeah. Sorry, I mean with the creative side of things specifically. No, it was just writing and acting. Never mind. I should just read my own notes. But how was that? How did you get into that in the first place? So I imagine the path of getting in to the sort of creative industry when you
was
did
on West
it
End and all that
is very different to the path that we went through.
Yeah, because the internet wasn't invented.
Well, yeah, because ours is so self-driven. You sort of can just put yourself out there in a way that I imagine wasn't a thing.
Yeah, I went to drama school. I did some amateur stuff before I went to drama school, and then did 3 years acting in musical theatre. And then there was a real kind of rigid way through at that point that you did that, you got an agent, you went for auditions, you got a job or you didn't get a job. So there was a very clear that's what happens. And so that's what I did. And I worked as an actor for about 15 years.
Right.
Yeah, about 10, 15 years. But during that, there was a period where I wasn't getting much work. And there were a lot of periods when I wasn't getting much work because that's just what it is, being acting, an actor. Yeah. And one of my friends said, should we try writing something? And, I wasn't academic, wasn't a writer. I failed my A-levels. But we just thought, there's nothing to lose, let's have a crack at it. So we wrote a sitcom for us because it was the point of it was writing some work for us to do.
getting your own work.
And it got made by the BBC. So we were in it, we wrote it, created it, and so then and it was shit. But it got made, and
You still have it?
pardon?
Do you still like have it on DVD?
Yeah, can people watch it? Like, would you
No,
be able to
no,
find it?
No.
Are you
No.
saying that as in like I don't want people to find it, or is this like
Yes.
okay, sure, I won't dig?
They will now. Now
And,
you've said that.
yeah,
well, no, we've not
and,
said the name of the. Oh yeah, but
yeah, and
well,
Our little pervy audience.
yeah, from there, I kind of did less and less acting because I was more interested in the writing, and I got a really good agent and started doing quite a lot of screenwriting after that. But I
Right.
did still did a little bit of acting. But then after him, were you yawning then? Are you just stifling a yawn? He did. He did one of them.
I didn't do
Didn't
that.
you
I
try and stifle a yawn?
I didn't.
Because we're not talking about him for 10
I know
seconds.
this is
we're
the
not
only part of the
talking
episode.
about
There's
him.
like 5 minutes left, and I thought we'll
First
pivot.
question
That's
about
not true.
me
Pivot
was
over
that
to
I just-
Tom.
sorry, I just- I know all
Listen,
the answers,
Tom,
don't
there's
I?
plenty more
I
questions
was
about
a
you on the
teacher.
Patreon.
Cool.
Plenty more questions about you on the Patreon.
I just know.
You know, you said red flag.
That I know, self-obsessed.
No, I'm not, guys. I genuinely love everyone
But-
equally. Feminist.
Because that's obviously the acting side of things. You were in some pretty like
I was on
recognisable
Coronation
things.
Street for
Yeah, you
for a while, for a year and a bit, and that was it was one of my first jobs. So I was.
So sorry, Claire. Pardon me.
What an arsehole.
It was on Coronation
Red
Street.
flag.
Mm.
And at that point, there were only 4 TV channels. It was on like twice a week or 3 times a week. It was a really small cast, and so it was getting like 9, 10, 11 million viewers an episode.
Yeah.
So you were instantly really famous.
Yeah.
On at that.
Were you getting recognised and everything?
Yeah, loads.
Because this is what
Well,
I
people
was
would
going
get
to
like,
ask.
angry at your character, wouldn't you? Then
Yeah,
shout
because
at
there was
you.
a lot of like confusion between people were so into Coronation Street, and like as they were EastEnders as well, and because there wasn't a lot of choice, there wasn't much to watch. So so it was you get really famous really quickly, and so it was, and at that point the tabloids were after soap stars, royal family, and very
Would you be in the
occasionally
tabloids?
and very occasionally movie stars. But it was royal family, then soap stars. It was, it was Princess Diana
Yeah.
era.
Well,
and
yeah,
so
yeah, of course.
there were, people were. It was kind of quite a predatory
invasive.
time, and and they'd write anything.
Yeah, this is the sort of question I had. Is obviously you've sort of now seen the sort of very quick rise to fame from your own perspective, and then from Tom's. I suppose there's already difference in that, just given one's first person, one's third, but also like in terms of the eras and the way one's on the internet, one's in the mainstream. How do they differ, and how do they sort of?
In
Like
terms of
themselves.
managing it, I didn't have support. I didn't particularly have any support, so I didn't know how to manage it. And so I was a bit of a dickhead, and I was drinking a lot, and I just didn't manage it well, and I didn't like it. I've been sober for like going up 9 years now. So, but at the time I wasn't, and I didn't manage it very well, and it really affected my self-esteem and really affected. I just completely lost who I was. I wasn't at a stage in my life where I really knew who I was anyway.
Sure.
No, exactly. I am now. Motherfucker. But at the time,
Cool.
I really, really didn't, and so it was really detrimental to my mental health.
Sure.
What are you?
No,
whittering
nothing,
on about?
nothing. So it wasn't good for your mental health.
Yeah, but in terms of mainstream and this sort of
Yeah.
fame that you have, it's really different. Mainstream fame, you'd go anywhere, and sort of a few people would know who. He's fucking yawning again.
I'm not.
Yes,
No,
sorry,
I'm
you
not,
went
man.
like
I'm
that.
listening to
You went-
you. I'm listening. Don't now you're being horrible about my beautiful face. So you go anywhere and people would
And
know
a
you.
few people would know you. Anywhere. With your sort of fame, you can go some places and nobody knows you, and nobody's going to know you. You go in other places and everybody loses their mind. They're so
Yeah.
excited, and you're so famous. And
So
it wasn't. It was just a general smattering. It was a smattering with mainstream fame.
well, yeah,
Face.
especially if you're on TV at the point where there's still 4 channels. Like
Yeah.
pretty much everyone is going to have come across
Yeah.
it at some point in a way
Yeah.
that like we really command a niche. Like there's
Yeah.
sort of a demographic.
Yeah, there's a demographic, and there's certain places you go to where nobody's going to know. Other places, everybody's going to know. So that's what I was on about, the fame being subjective.
Sure.
In your sort of environment.
Yeah, we sort of rock a real group, and then you know,
and in other places, you're not
old
famous
folk
at
don't
all.
give a shit about us.
Yeah.
Don't want them
Yeah.
anyway.
Who gives a shit, man? They're all not even that nice.
Old people can be rude.
I know, young people are cool.
Young people have never been rude.
And they're nice and cool.
Yep. Well,
I feel like you're old person baiting me there.
no,
No,
you're not old.
no. How old are you again?
I'm 51.
What? No. That, Jack, was a little joke.
Oh, sorry, I was reading the notes.
Okay,
I
yeah,
was
all right.
gonna quickly before we move. We got a lot more questions on the Patreon, but I wanted to ask you one more. You're getting back into writing, from what I understand. Are you able to talk about that at all, or is this? Am I breaking contracts?
No, I can talk about it. I have a TV show in development. That's it's a fictionalized version of our experience. But
Yes.
from the point of view of my character. So it's essentially it's a story. It's a comedy drama, 6 parts, about three generations of men kind of leaving me in different ways. So Tom with his growing up and being famous, my dad had dementia for a long time, and so he kind of disappeared in stages over sort of 6 years. And my Tom's dad, who's now my ex-husband, all leaving in different ways from the life, from the woman.
Yes.
So, and it's looking at that and how that kind of the sudden fame and fortune and recognition and all of those things of this child, how life still goes on regardless of all of this massive, massive thing that kind of dominates your life and changes everybody's kind of perspective and place in the family, and how things can change. But, there's still lots of everyday things that happen to lots of people. And it's kind of negotiating this weird fame and attention with these other things that are equally as full on and sometimes really, really funny, sometimes really, really traumatic and upsetting, how all of this shit's happening at the same time. And how do you manage all of that? And how do you manage that as the person who's kind of, I'm still in the same house, I'm still with the same dogs, but life's changed around me. Like, because my dad lived with us for a bit. Tom was there. Your dad was there. And now it's me and the dogs. And things have changed a lot. And it's just kind of that story. With hilarious consequences.
Funny moments. You've told me some of the funnies. There's some funnies in there. It didn't.
Oh yeah,
It didn't sound very comedy when you explained it, but it is. There's funny bits.
Yeah, my dad's dementia was equally heartbreaking and hilarious.
I didn't want to be the one to say it, but you told me some good
hilarious,
stories.
some of it, yeah. The time where he was very, very angry because somebody had stolen his steering wheel of his car. He was sitting on the back seat.
Yeah. That's
the
that
other
one was the best
time
one.
where
My
he was
granddad.
really, really cross because somebody had stolen the upstairs of his house. This was after he'd moved into a bungalow. Yeah, there was a lot of people
people aren't
stealing
doing that
things.
these days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a lot of
upstairs
people
thieves.
stealing things. Yeah, he escaped from lots of nursing homes, 5 nursing homes.
Well,
Yeah.
Fucking
I
hell.
want to dig more into the show because I've got a supplementary question, but we're out of time, so we're going to move over to the Patreon where we have a bunch more
Why don't you tease some of our bestest questions?
bestest questions. Well, I've got more questions on this, but I also have questions about. This one's my favorite. Which you can think about this now. Which of Tom's friends is your favorite? Rank Tom's friends. I thought you'd have a good opinion on that. So I reckon if that doesn't convince you, I don't know what will.
I
So
don't
come
need to
join us on the $7 Patreon. But first, Sarah Simons, would you be able to tell us how the worm is doing? He's in there. Don't drop him.
Time to meet the worm.
Oh, hello. Where is he?
I don't know. You have to
Dunno,
look.
you
That's
gotta
half
find
of
him.
the
It's part of
adventure.
Oh, it's
fun.
heavy, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
there's
a
mud in
worm.
there.
I'm not shaming him.
No.
No.
Not worm
No, we
shaming
learnt that
him.
with Dad earlier in the episode. Is it?
Dunno.
Where is he? Is that him at the bottom?
Could be. I
Shut him.
really couldn't
Hi,
tell you.
babes.
Is he all right? Would you
No.
say?
I have no idea. I ain't got my glasses on. So first of all, this looks like a load of brown fuzz.
Sure.
Yeah. Admittedly, it is a load of brown fuzz.
Is he alive?
Let me
Have a
quickly
peek. Let Jack have a look.
Can you? Oh,
But Jack, you have a gammy
I've got
eye,
a
mate.
fucked up eye and all, so I can't even see the best.
Should I have a look for this worm?
Oh, I can see a bit of him there.
Again,
Oh, he's just shifted. He moved.
oh really?
oh.
He moved, so he's alive and moving.
It's like a magic eye thing, isn't it? If you look like that, you can see a dolphin.
Oh, don't, because I'm worried I'm going to go blind in this gammy eye, and if I do, I'll never
No,
be able
what are you
Sorry.
fucking doing?
There's no to see. You just shifted out
Well,
of
you'll
view.
see out of one eye, babes.
You can't do
know,
magic
lots
eyes with
of
one
fun.
eye.
Can't
What's
you?
magic eyes?
Oh,
Well,
they're
you
the
go like
best.
that and you see a dolphin.
Yeah, I love them.
What do you mean you go like that and you see a dolphin?
I'm on the Magic Eye subreddit. If anyone else is on the Magic Eye subreddit, shout out.
What else do
what
you
is the
see?
magic eye?
All
When you go
sorts.
like that.
What are you both doing? You just both.
It was a thing in the 80s. We don't have time for this.
I'm seeing a dolphin. I'm not
No,
seeing
you
a
don't
dolphin.
just
No,
Shut
you
your
don't
eyes.
shut your eyes. You go like that.
You cross them.
You don't cross it.
You do. You cross your eyes.
Like that.
Yeah.
What? And then what do I
No,
see?
you don't.
do.
You go like that.
What are you doing?
Like that.
You're
like
squinting. You're not
You
supposed
just
to squint.
squinted.
You do.
You just
That's not what
squinted.
magic
You go
eye
like
is.
that. You don't go like
I
that.
just see my
'Cause
nose.
I'm an avid user of the r/Magic Eye subreddit.
I
I
just
know
see
everything.
my nose
to know.
bigger.
What are they called? There's an official word for him.
Slash.
R/slash.
Slash magic eye.
What? I'm
Magic
crossing
eye.
my eyes and shutting
Pervert.
them. What am I seeing?
No. There's like
no,
a thing
you
you
look
look.
at something.
I'll show you a
don't
magic
just
eye in the
imagine
break.
it.
But first, we must move over to our Patreon.